Hey, Christmas light community. So today I'm going to answer a question that gets asked all the time. The difference between SPT-1 and SPT-2, also known as lamp cord. But before I get to that, please go down and check out my subscribe button and hit it, please. I'm trying to get to 1,000 before Christmas. I'm a little bit short. My goal was 500. I exceeded that, so I'm pushing it to 1,000. So let's get started on what is the difference between SPT-2 and SPT-1. So there is only one difference between SPT-1 and SPT-2, and that is SPT-1 and SPT-2 are both 18 gauge wire, or by the AWG, which is the American wire gauge, they both have 18 gauge wire, which in turn means that it can only carry 10 amps or 50 feet or less. If you go more than 50 feet from it, you need to be less than 10 amps. It drops down to like 8 amps, and then the further you go out, it'll actually drop out more. So, what does that mean for Christmas light? I have a little cheat sheet here, so that's why I'm going off of, because I wanted the right information. So SPT-1, the thickness of the coating on the outside is 0.030. Not very thick, right? SPT-2 is 0.045. So it's 15 thousandths of a difference, thickness, thicker. That is the only difference between SPT-1 and SPT-2. So people say, well, SPT-2, you can carry more amperage. That is not correct, because the amperage is carried through the wire gauge. Remember I said it's the AWG, the gauge of the wire? So if both SPT-1 and SPT-2 have a 18 gauge wire. Now, there is an SPT-2 cord that is 16 gauge wire, but most time when we're speaking of lamp cord, you actually got a special at that, and it's a lot more expensive, and everybody thinks SPT-2 is you're going to be able to carry more, and that is not correct. You can only carry the voltage of 120 will push that, but it both will only carry 10 amps, and that is 10 amps within 50 feet and less. So if we have more amperage out there pulling back, then we need to either find another electrical source or maybe whatever. So here's the other thing about that is, so SPT-2, and then the other thing is too, you have to look at your timers. We use a photocell timer, and we use a couple of them, and I've been looking at them. The little bit more expensive ones, like the $12 ones, they will carry 12 amps. You get the little bit cheaper ones, the $9 ones, or the single outlet ones, they will only carry 8 amps through that photocell sensor timer. So we don't want to be overloading our timer and catch it, because honestly our timer is our weakest point. And why is that our weakest point? Because if we put 10 amps on an 8 amp timer, we are overloading that timer, and that can be bad. And the last thing we want to do is catch somebody's house on fire with the timer that is right next to their house. So we want to make sure our timer is rated for how much electricity we have coming into it. Now, with LED, it's not so critical of knowing how many amps we have coming in, because LED don't draw much. But there is times that we get out there and we get a couple hundred bulbs on there, we're going to start pushing our limit of how many amps that wire can carry. So again, it's just the thickness is the only difference between SPT-1 and SPT-2. We started with SPT-2, all our cord is SPT-2. If I started over again, I would start out with SPT-1. It's easier to get your connections on. These are a pain in the butt to get on sometimes. You gotta use a pair of pliers. Where a lot of your SPT-1, you can just slide right on with your finger. And so it makes it a little bit easier that way. This SPT-2 does cost a little bit more. I mean, we can get this stuff for like 15 cents a foot versus the SPT-1. We can get into like 10 to 12 cents a foot. So it is, it's not much, but it is a little bit different, more cost than SPT. But we were told we could carry 10 amps far distance. And when we started out, we were doing incandescence. So it was definitely, the incandescence is definitely a different, you got to really watch how many amps you get going, because you can only carry 120 bulbs of C9 socket, and you're at 10 amps, and you're having to find another whole outlet from that outlet. So again, if you would like to learn how to make extension cords, check out this video. If you would like to learn or to know what meter we use to check how many amps we're pulling, check out this video right here. Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas, and have a great holiday season. Thank you.